Love after 60. If a man sees you as just an option, he'll do these 3 things.
Welcome to Wise Life After 60. So grateful to have you here. Do you know what truly separates the woman a man is completely devoted to from the one he keeps waiting in the background? It's not her beauty, her success, or how perfectly she treats him. The truth is simpler, yet often overlooked, and it's the difference between being his first choice and being just an option. If you've ever found yourself wondering where you stand with someone, questioning if you're his priority or just another name in his phone, you know the uneasy ache that lingers in your heart. That feeling when his attention flickers, when you sense it could vanish at any moment, it can make even the strongest woman doubt her worth. But here's what I want you to hold on to. Being treated as an option does not mean you are not a remarkable woman. Sometimes it's not about you at all, but about his own limits, his timing, or simply the wrong fit. Today on Wise Life After 60, I'll share 3 signs that show exactly when a man only sees you as an option, so you can stop questioning and start choosing love that truly chooses you. Before we dive in, if you find value in conversations like this, I'd love for you to like this video and subscribe to Wise Life After 60 so we can continue walking this journey together. Now, let's step into the first sign that reveals when a man only sees you as an option.
Number 1. Inconsistent communication on his terms.
Have you ever noticed how a man's attention sometimes feels like the flicker of a candle? You see the light, and then suddenly it disappears into the dark. That's the first sign. When communication happens only when it's convenient for him, when his words arrive not with consistency but with randomness, you are not being treated as a priority. You are simply an option, a placeholder for when he feels like filling the silence. In Love After 60, communication is more than messages and phone calls. At this stage of life, it's about showing presence, reliability, and care. A man who truly values you will want to make sure you feel connected to him. It doesn't mean he will text you every hour or call you constantly, but it does mean that he will make the effort to reach out in ways that build trust. If, instead, he only sends you a, "Hey, what are you doing?" after disappearing for days, or if you see him posting online but leaving your messages unread, it reveals a painful truth. You are not his focus. I've seen this pattern so often. A friend of mine once confided that she would wait for days, glancing at her phone, only to receive a casual one-line message late at night. She told me how her heart lifted every time his name appeared, only to sink again as the emptiness of his words reminded her she was an afterthought. It wasn't that he was busy, because a man who sees you as his priority will always find a way to say something, even a short note like, "Thinking of you." The inconsistency wasn't about his schedule, it was about his intentions. Psychologists often say that consistent communication is one of the clearest markers of emotional investment. In Love After 60, the lesson is no different than it was at 30, except now we no longer have the luxury of wasting years waiting on someone's uncertainty. When a man reaches this age, he knows how to pick up the phone, he knows how to send a text, and he knows how to show up. If he doesn't, it isn't because he doesn't know how, it's because he doesn't want to. That is the darker truth. Inconsistency is a strategy. By keeping you unsure, he ensures you remain available whenever he decides to come back. I think of communication as a thread between 2 people. If he only tugs at it when he wants comfort, the fabric between you will always fray. But if he holds that thread carefully, pulling gently but steadily, it weaves a bond that feels safe. The difference is not in the grand gestures, it's in the reliability of showing up. Some women tell me, but maybe he's just not good with phones. And yet the same man will respond instantly to a message from a colleague or share memes with his buddies. The truth is, people make time for what matters to them. If you are wondering, am I just an option to him? Ask yourself, does he keep the thread alive, or does he let it unravel until it suits him to pick it up again? The hardest part is realizing that waiting for a man to be consistent does not make him consistent. It only drains your spirit. A man who values you will want to reassure you. A man who doesn't will leave you questioning. And those questions are exhausting, aren't they? They chip away at joy and create more doubt than love. In the end, communication on his terms is not communication. It's control. It's his way of keeping you nearby, but never fully holding you close. Recognizing this is not about blaming yourself. It's about understanding that you deserve better. And once you see it, you can no longer unsee it. Because deep down, we all know, when someone truly cares, they find a way. When they don't, silence is its own answer. Now, let's turn to something even more subtle than silence, the way a man avoids sharing his inner world with you.
Number 2. Emotional distance. Avoiding true intimacy. Some truths in love are not spoken aloud. They are hidden in the spaces where intimacy should live. One of the clearest signs that you are just an option is when a man avoids opening his inner world to you. He may laugh with you, share meals, even hold your hand, but when it comes to speaking about his fears, his regrets, his dreams, or his weaknesses, the door remains closed. You are kept outside, politely entertained, but never truly welcomed in. At this stage of life, dating after 60 is not about collecting casual company. It is about seeking companionship that carries weight, depth, and a sense of home. A man who values you will slowly let you into his inner world, because he understands that real connection comes not from perfect conversations, but from honest ones. When he shields himself behind small talk, keeps things surface level, and never allows you to glimpse his deeper truths, he is signaling that he does not intend to build lasting closeness with you. Philosophers have long reminded us that intimacy is not simply the sharing of time, but the sharing of the soul. Aristotle once wrote that love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies, but if he never allows you to touch his soul, then what you have is not love, it is company, pleasant but incomplete. In the absence of emotional openness, you are positioned not as his partner, but as a convenient presence who fills the hours. Many women, wise and accomplished, have told me stories of men who seemed cheerful and charming, but kept their hearts behind locked doors. They would speak endlessly about sports, politics, or movies, but when asked about their own struggles, they brushed it aside with, "I'm fine, let's not talk about that." Over time, these women realized that the relationship had reached a ceiling. They were allowed to orbit around his life, but never touch its core. The deeper psychology here is simple. A man knows that to share emotions is to risk attachment, and attachment demands responsibility. By withholding his feelings, he keeps you in a safe category, close enough to enjoy, distant enough to leave behind when he chooses. That is not a partnership. That is avoidance. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been with someone who made you feel like you were walking on the surface of a lake, seeing the beauty of the water, but never allowed to dive in? If you have, I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments below. Your story might give strength to another woman who is quietly questioning the same thing. When a man values you as his priority, he will not hide forever. He will let you see his shadows as well as his light. He will tell you what keeps him up at night, what he hopes for tomorrow, and where he feels uncertain. This openness is not a weakness. It is the courage of someone who wants you to know him fully. But when he refuses that closeness, when every attempt to touch his heart is gently deflected, he is telling you with his silence that you are not the one he plans to invest in. It is not about your worth. It is about his choice to remain guarded. And the longer you accept it, the clearer it becomes that you are waiting outside a door that will never open. There is a certain sorrow in realizing this, but also a certain freedom, because once you see the wall for what it is, you no longer waste your time trying to climb it. Instead, you can turn your steps toward someone who will gladly meet you at the gate, arms wide, ready to welcome you in. And that leads us to the final, and perhaps most revealing sign, the one that often hurts the most to admit, but once you recognize it, everything becomes clear.
Number 3. You're always the initiator. Auditioning for priority.
There's a mistakably draining aspect to a relationship where all the effort comes from one side. If you are always the one who sends the first text, always the one who plans the outing, always remembering birthdays or anniversaries, then you are not his partner. You are his convenience. And that is the third sign. In love after 60, energy is precious. We have lived long enough to know that love should feel mutual, not one-sided. And yet many women still find themselves in relationships where they carry all the weight of connection. I once spoke with a woman named Elaine, who told me she realized she had sent the last 20 messages in a row. She would text good morning, ask how his day was going, suggest meeting for lunch, and even remind him of the movie they both wanted to see. His responses were polite, sometimes warm, but rarely did he take the initiative. She said it felt like auditioning for a role she would never be cast in. This is the harsh reality. When a man truly wants you, you will not have to chase him. You will not have to keep the spark alive on your own. He will show initiative, because desire naturally moves us to action. But when he lets you do all the reaching, it is not because he doesn't know how, it is because he doesn't need to. He has already learned that you will do it for him. The psychology here is subtle but powerful. By always being the one to initiate, you are unintentionally teaching him that effort is unnecessary. And when effort is unnecessary, respect begins to fade. He sees you not as a prize to be cherished, but as a certainty he can count on without lifting a finger. Think of it this way. Imagine carrying a heavy box up a hill. If your partner walks beside you but never reaches out to grab a corner, what does that say about his intentions? Does he truly want to make the journey with you, or is he just enjoying the fact that you're willing to do the work? Philosophy reminds us that love is not meant to be a performance. The Stoic thinker Seneca once wrote that true friendship, and by extension love, is found when each person sees themselves as a guardian of the other's soul. If only one person is protecting, nurturing, and initiating, then it is not a shared guardianship. It is a labor that leaves one empty and the other complacent. The examples are endless. You suggest dinner. He agrees but never offers a plan. You bring up the idea of a weekend getaway. He says maybe, but never follows up.
You remind him of important dates, and he smiles, grateful you remembered, but never remembers himself. Over time, this lack of balance creates not only exhaustion, but also resentment. Because deep down, you know, if he wanted to, he would. And here is the dark truth many of us resist. A man who truly wants you will not let you wonder. He will meet you halfway, if not more. He will call first. He will suggest plans. He will show up with enthusiasm because he is motivated by his desire for you. When he does not, when you are the one carrying the relationship on your shoulders, you are not his priority. You are his backup plan, his comfort when convenient, but not his choice. Yet there's also empowerment in seeing this clearly. Because once you stop auditioning for a role, you realize you never needed to try out in the first place. Your value does not depend on being chosen. It shines whether he recognizes it or not. And now, with all three signs in front of us, the picture becomes clear. What remains is not despair, but a chance to take back your time, your energy, and your dignity. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, the signs become clear. The man who communicates only on his terms, the one who avoids opening his heart, and the one who leaves you to do all the initiating, he is not offering love. He is offering fragments. And fragments are never enough for a woman who has lived, learned, and grown through the seasons of life. In dating after 60, we are no longer auditioning for someone's attention. We are choosing wisely where to place our time and our heart. The beauty of this stage is that you already know your value. You do not need a man's recognition to validate it. What you need is alignment, consistency, and the quiet joy of being truly seen. Remember this, a man who makes you his priority will not leave you guessing. He will make the effort. He will let you into his inner world, and he will meet you halfway. That clarity is not too much to ask for. It is the foundation of love itself. If this message spoke to you, I hope you'll like this video, subscribe to Wise Life After 60, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, take care of your spirit.